Welcome to The Explainer. I am absolutely thrilled you're joining us today. Look, we're going to completely shift the way you think about your health, your pain, and honestly, those medications you take every day. We are embarking on a journey to literally flip the medical paradigm on its head. Instead of that endless, exhausting cycle of just chasing isolated symptoms, we're going to focus on how to heal your body's actual foundation right down at the cellular level. If you've ever felt like your body is just this confusing puzzle of separate parts breaking down one by one, well, you are definitely not alone, and this explainer is exactly for you.
Section 1. The illusion of localized problems.
Okay, let's dive into this. Let's start with a reality that is just deeply frustrating for so many of us. As we get a bit older, we tend to start collecting ailments, right? A little joint pain over here, some brain fog there, maybe the blood pressure's creeping up. And what happens? You go to a completely different specialist for every single one. Why do we accept this model where we take a different pill for every single pain? You see a rheumatologist for your knee, a neurologist for your head, an eye doctor for your vision. We've basically been trained by the conventional medical status quo to treat every distinct pain as an entirely separate disease that needs its own specific pharmaceutical fix. But what if that whole premise is just a total illusion?
To understand why this happens, we really have to look at how doctors are actually trained. Standard medical school teaches what's basically a labeling approach. We look at downstream symptoms, we slap labels on them, and then we pick medications to just kind of mask those specific labels. But modern research, especially driven by experts like Dr. Robert Lustig, points us to a systems biology approach. This approach recognizes a profound truth. These supposedly different diseases are deeply interconnected at the most fundamental cellular level. Your body isn't a collection of separate machines, you know? It's one unified, highly integrated biological system.
Section 2. The real enemy, metabolic syndrome.
If we genuinely want to find true health, we've got to look way past those localized symptoms you're feeling and look at the massive, hidden root cause that's just lurking beneath the surface. According to some incredible research highlighted by Dr. Lustig, an absolutely shocking 93% of the American population is metabolically ill. I really want to let that sink in for a second. 93% of the population is suffering from some form of metabolic and mitochondrial dysfunction. Your mitochondria, they're the powerhouses of your cells. When they stop working correctly, you don't just get sick in one isolated place. Your entire biological foundation starts to crack. And the primary culprit? Well, it's not some mystery virus.
It's actually our food environment. If you've struggled with your health or your weight, it is absolutely vital to understand that obesity and metabolic syndrome are not moral failings. No way. They are biochemical responses to a highly toxic food environment. Ultra-processed foods and added sugars, specifically fructose, act as literal cellular poisons. In fact, Dr. Lustig brilliantly points out that fructose is metabolized in your liver exactly like ethanol. Sugar is basically the alcohol of the child. We're getting the diseases of alcohol consumption without even drinking, simply because of what is hidden in our everyday processed foods.
And this brilliantly illustrates how it all connects. That joint pain or osteoarthritis, it's linked directly to mitochondrial dysfunction. Vision issues, they trace right back to hypoxia, which is a lack of oxygen. Brain fog or fibromyalgia, driven by neuroinflammation. These seemingly totally disconnected issues in different organs, like our eyes, our joints, our brain, they're actually just localized symptoms of one underlying metabolic disease. It's the exact same fundamental problem, just showing up differently in different parts of your body.
Section 3. Nutrition as preventative medicine.
So how do we actually fix this whole shebang? We pivot to the first critical pillar of a true systemic solution. This means realizing that a drug prescribed by a doctor isn't always what you actually need for localized pain. Instead, proper guidance and direction toward a healthy lifestyle and real, unprocessed food is our primary, absolutely most powerful preventative medicine. We have to stop fueling the fire, right? Before we can repair any cellular damage, we simply have to remove the poison. And hey, it's not about counting calories to look a certain way, it's about giving your cells the actual raw materials they need to function without being constantly poisoned.
The clinical data on this is just staggering. When we simply remove sugar and ultra-processed food and replace them with real whole food, we see a rapid reversal of insulin resistance and metabolic dysfunction. And here is the real kicker. This happens entirely independent of calorie counting or weight changes. You can heal your metabolism even if the scale doesn't move right away, because you're fixing the underlying cellular pathology. That ultimately saves immense systemic healthcare costs and lets you fully reclaim your life.
Section 4. The power of hyperbaric oxygen.
But what happens when that cellular damage is already really deeply entrenched?
when metabolic syndrome has already led to severe chronic inflammation. Well, this brings us to the second, highly advanced pillar of our solution, hyperbaric oxygen therapy, or HBOT. Now, it's super crucial to understand that this isn't just breathing pure oxygen like at a spa. The science here is fascinating. HBOT is actually classified as a dual-component drug. It utilizes both hyperoxia, that's the 100% oxygen, and increased barometric pressure inside a specialized chamber. We're literally using physical atmospheric pressure as a drug to force systemic healing deep into the body's tissues.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the sheer scale of what this pressure actually achieves. When you're at just 1.5 atmospheres of pressure, breathing 100% oxygen, the amount of oxygen dissolved directly into your blood plasma increases a staggering 10-fold. It bypasses the need for red blood cells and hemoglobin entirely. Your blood plasma basically becomes supersaturated with oxygen, allowing it to penetrate deeply into tissues that have literally been starved and damaged for years.
Section 5. Healing at the cellular level. Once this massive wave of oxygen reaches those hypoxic, starved tissues, an absolute miracle of biology happens. This right here is where true regenerative medicine takes place. The combination of pressure and oxygen triggers angiogenesis, which is the literal growth of brand new blood vessels. It signals your bone marrow to mobilize massive amounts of healing stem cells. Groundbreaking research even shows it lengthens telomeres and clears out aging senescent cells, meaning it literally reverses biological aging at the cellular level. It shuts down systemic inflammation and induces neuroplasticity, allowing damaged brain tissue to rewire and heal. It essentially wakes up stunned cells and rebuilds you from the inside out.
Let's look at a concrete example of just how powerful this is. For the longest time, fibromyalgia was considered this mysterious, incurable localized pain condition, but clinical trials led by Professor Shai Efrati proved that HBOT can actually reverse the central pain sensitization in the brain that causes fibromyalgia. After a targeted HBOT protocol, an incredible 40% of patients healed so profoundly that they no longer even met the diagnostic criteria for the disease. By healing the brain's cellular environment, the quote-unquote local symptom of full-body pain completely vanished.
Section 6. A comprehensive, integrated medical solution.
So the crucial point is, true healing requires a fully integrated protocol, exactly like what we provide at our medical center, HBO Medical in Brasso. We're organized to give you a comprehensive response with medical experts across all fields. First, we tackle the root cause through dedicated lifestyle and nutritional guidance to solve those underlying metabolic issues. Second, we utilize our Institute for Hyperbaric Chamber Treatment to reverse hypoxia and actually regenerate tissue. And third, we integrate our Rehabilitation and Physiotherapy Center to rebuild your functional strength. By overcoming the underlying root disease with this full-circle approach, we basically get rid of all those seemingly separate problems once and for all.
Which leaves us with one final, vital question. Are you ready to stop putting a Band-Aid on the tip of the iceberg and finally take control of your fundamental cellular health? The science is abundantly clear, and the tools are waiting for you at centers like HBO Medical. Thank you so much for joining me on The Explainer today, and hey, here's to your incredible systemic health.